Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 of this Best of 3 series between Fnatic and EG. The score is tied up 1-1, and we'll get right into it. We're going to pause in 3, 2, 1 on pause. But Fnatic versus EG, this has been a really interesting series with some really interesting heroes. Dazzle, Pudge, hopefully another interesting hero will be picked up in this game at the very least, but both teams I'm sure want to perform well, so they might go with what they know. But so far, game 1, Fnatic with some nice play managed to overcome EG. On game 2, you said it was an outdraft. I have to be inclined to believe with you. That anti-mage just never really got stopped, ever.
Ever. There's something about the fun ending here, 3 a.m., I don't know. All the anti-mage memes rolled into one. But you said you wanted to see new heroes. I want to see Nake's Gyro Alchemist. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Dang, you are just... Man, that is pretty white bread. Well, you might get your wish because Keep Alive is the first ban. Look for EG to ban out Wisp as well as Batrider, and Fnatic to respond with either Darkseer, Lifestealer, or some other combination of some other very powerful hero. I mean, man, these first two picks, or first two bans are pretty much predictable. It's always made me wonder, like, why do teams let Batrider through in the first place?
I don't know. A lot of it's really, really team specific, where some team knows that another team doesn't utilize Batrider all that well, or another team might be really scared of giving Wisp to another team if they have second pick but not first pick, because then you get the Wisp CK combo. It's weird. So most teams will ban out Wisp if they have themselves this the first pick, because the second pick is when you get the Wisp CK, and that's when it gets really scary. But EG, I know, always bans out Wisp no matter what, because they think that you can just get like a Wisp friend like Sven or Tiny or something and win like that. So, I mean, the bans, there's never really that much to talk about because they're always the same. You can sort of see what a team's going to do, but they're so standard that it doesn't really give away anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice though that the patch has become so balanced that a lot of heroes have become sort of viable to a certain extent, but still, the top tier is remaining somewhat the same, and like we're going to see the same picks and bans, at least in the opening, these first two picks and bans, the same in TI3, but that's still a while away. Both teams probably looking to do their best. I mean, EG, even though they're not going to TI3, they still have a lot of tournaments upcoming. They have to play, actually, the American League Dota Finals right after this game against Liquid. Or not after this game, but after we finish this, I might have to check out that stream. But yeah, they're going to be playing against Liquid, and also they're going to be participating in the Raidcall EMS One LAN in Poland, where a lot of the top teams have withdrawn their participation due to training against TI3. Only Fnatic are one of the major teams that are participating. So EG, they still have a lot of things to play for, but so far, again, these picks and bans, very, very standard. We're going to see what Fnatic open up with. I mean, Tree is a possible option, although in the previous game... Well, EG did make great usage of the Tree.
Well, it wasn't first pick. People were picking like second and third, I think.
Yep.
So I don't think Fnatic will first pick it.
Okay, so... Yeah, I'm not too sure what Fnatic will open up with. Maybe a hero like Nature's Prophet? No, Gyrocopter, the most stable carry right now in the competitive scene. He's good in every single aspect, and he can even carry a game against two hard carries if it comes down to it, if he has the proper backup. So, Gyrocopter, a very, very solid choice for Fnatic. We're going to see if EG can respond appropriately. What do you think is the best thing to do against Gyrocopter?
It's hard to say. You don't want to aggressive tri-lane because you'll just get destroyed with Barrage. So a lot of times you don't just want to get an AFK farmer and out-farm him. I think the only person who's really capable of that is Anti-Mage and to a certain extent Spectre. And like even Treant isn't that good because you just get your armor burned through. I think Lone Druid is solid because of that root bash advantage, but I think you got to run him as like a one farmer. Because if you have Lone Druid and like a harder farmer, Gyro's just going to take control of your mid game. So I think you run him as a number one farmer. You get that basher and the root advantage on Gyro, and you can just kill him. Because even if he BKBs, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about EG is that they don't really like to get the Lone Druid, because who's their Lone Druid player? I guess it's... I've seen J.O. play
J.O. does it. It's always J.O.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen Fear do it once or twice if it's like the hard farmer, but it's usually J.O.
Yeah, but I mean, they do have the trade, so if it comes down to the late game, if Gyrocopter has burnt through his BKB, you can cast the Overgrowth and prevent him from attacking, but that's a big if. But EG picked up a pretty stable lineup. They have the Living Armor to apply to the bear, they have the Living Armor to protect the towers. I mean, they have the Living Armor to just cure what ails ye, as Fnatic going to choose the Nature's Prophet, so it seems like Fnatic are going for a bit more split push oriented lineup with a bit of focus on the late stages of the game rather than just, you know, overpowering EGA from the outset. But we're going to have to see if EG lets Fnatic get their farm going, since Nature's Prophet is a hero who is, of course, ridiculously powerful, but only if he's left alone for the first 10 minutes or so.
I think EG might have disable problems. If Fnatic bans out the appropriate disables and it doesn't, okay, they're not going to do this route. But I think Fnatic had the option of banning out a couple of really strong disable heroes, and then you don't have enough to ever isolate the gyrocopter in a team fight. But I think that they're just going to get rid of the Nakes, and they're probably going to get rid of maybe a Nyx or a Hawk, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, these days, a lot of mid-heroes left in the pool since the mid-hero pool has gotten a lot more versatile. You can still bottle crow to a certain extent, but teams don't really prioritize on banning out mids unless they're signature mids, and if they're Batrider or something like that.
And Obsidian Destroyer, because that hero's really, really absurdly good.
Yeah, I mean, Lone Druid is like one of the only heroes that can match up against it. Which other hero?
Well, there's heroes that, quote, match up against it, but they still lose. Lone Druid will lose to an OD who gets pooled regen. It happens. And I'm guessing Fnatic's going to ban OD. I would, because you get that tree OD advantage. But Lone Druid can do okay, but if OD gets pooled and he gets ahead at the beginning, it's over. Like, Razor does okay on paper, but still, you'll just lose. Viper, okay on paper, but you just, like, all the people who do, quote, okay against him still lose. So, I don't know. Someone's got to figure out how to beat that hero before TI3, otherwise it's just going to just carry every game. Okay, we see what EG's doing. Pretty standard timing push with lots of healing.
Yep, Chen is going to be a third choice, but Fnatic interesting enough decided to ban out the Weaver rather than getting rid of the OD. OD not the best pusher, so it might not fit into EG's strategy, but I mean, if they want a stable mid that really can't be beaten, especially with living armor on top of that, I mean, that would just mean that the lane is going to be completely lost for Fnatic and might be sort of forcing Fnatic to switch up their lanes. And keep in mind, Hani has had a pretty strong impact in both games thus far. First game with the Clockwork, second game, he did pretty well with the Bounty Hunter, but it wasn't just really a Bounty Hunter game in general. But Fnatic right now, they have their offlaner for Trixie, they have their carry for Era. Right now they need supports and they need a mid, and we're about to see what they decide to go for here, as I don't know if they really have that strong of counter pushing pushing abilities, so I'm not too sure what they're going to decide to go for here with their supports. May some stable supports.
Tinker might be appropriate. They don't really have a way, they being EG, to get people off the tower. So what EG is going to go for, okay, Venom, there's the counter push. But what EG, I think Rexar or DK, and just put that hero mid. Then they have a really pushy mid who's really good at taking towers. Rexar's R is going to be so good with the Lone Druid, and there's so much healing. And you just, if anybody ever pushes up to try to defend the tower, you roar him, kill him, and then take a tower. So I think Rexar would be really, really, DK would be equally good, because then you have, it's a lot for Lone Druid to do all on his own, and DK is really good at that, just taking towers and farming type thing. So I think that can work, and his range stun's so good against Gyro anyway. So.
Well, we're gonna see the
there
OD.
we go.
Yep. I mean, this is just gonna be next to impossible to beat mid. I mean, you do have Venomance, a pretty strong roamer, but I don't know how much roaming Fnatic will do early on, and Trim Protector Living Armor will just make that a lot more difficult. But before we get into this next pick, I'm just gonna call you back since you're fading out. So,
okay.
1 second. Alright, we back in action.
Yeah, we're good to go. I gave Skype a 1 star on that call. Wrote an angry letter.
Dang, Skype, I'm sure, cares about your opinion to such a great extent that they'll never anger you again.
So,
But
Fnatic
yeah.
is probably going to need to pick up a mid. You can't put Gyrocopter mid against OD. You'll get like 1 creep a minute, and then you'll feel stupid. And, yep, Viper. I mentioned this a little bit. I really honestly think that Outworld beats Viper.
No, he does. He does. Because I've seen it in a couple pro games, and theoretically, yeah, I mean, you can last here with the Viper. The thing about OD is that his main weakness in mid lane is that he can't really push that fast. Viper can't push at all in the middle lane, so you won't be able to ever have rune control. You won't really be able to bring OD down to low enough HP where your Nether Toxin can do any damage, and Poison Attack won't do that much because OD outspeeds you by 30 move speeders, so what can Viper actually do? It's pretty limited, to say the least. I mean, theoretically, you can just stay in lane, get experience, and OD can't really do anything about it. But, I mean, because he doesn't rely on mana so much. But he won't be able to keep the OD back, and OD, with enough imprisonments, will be able to just take over, and OD's base damage will grow to such an extent that he can start denying Viper, and it's just not a good matchup for Viper in general. But, I mean,
Here's
Viper
what I
can
like
survive.
about it, though. Viper versus OD isn't that good, but they need stuff to beat Treant. You just got to beat the Treant Protector somehow. So they got Venomancer, that's part of it. They got Viper, that's part of it. I mean, you got the whatever it's called barrage thing for from Gyro. That's something. So when you got someone in every lane, or at least most of the lanes, who can beat that ability, that's really solid. So I think that's an important step. And also, you can put the Viper Strike on the Syllabear when it's running really fast and trying to kill everybody, and that's pretty solid too. I don't know. I think
EG's turn to
Viper Treant might be, or Treant OD might be like the best combo in the game right now after Wisp CK, but I think Fnatic has the best counter that you can have to it.
One thing I'm a bit worried about for Fnatic is that they don't really have any lockdown, but I mean, EG doesn't really have mobility, so that might not be the biggest deal. So, I mean, it's an interesting lineup, EG going for more on in-your-face pushing, as EG going to secure themselves a Doombringer.
It's a farming Doom.
Yeah, they're going to get themselves a pretty tanky carry. We'll see if they build it the way Alliance does, where they get the fast drums, get just as tanky as possible, and then just go in. And Fear actually plays Doom, or played Doom back when he was really, really popular. And what Fear did better than most other Dooms is that he's picked up a really fast dagger and then just blinked in with the Centaur. And there's really not too much enemy teams can do to stop that initiation. So Fear was the pioneer of Blink Dagger Doom with the Centaur stun. And we're going to have to see if it comes to effect this game. I imagine it will be. But Fnatic, we're going to see how they respond. Right now, they literally have one stun, which is the homing missile. And again, EG don't really have the best maneuverability, so that might not matter so much. Still, you want to have at least one stun to go in for a gank.
I think if he gets on top of Gyro and dooms him before Gyro can do anything, Fnatic has nothing in team fights. They have nothing.
10 seconds remaining.
So if you can do that, Doom's obviously going to farm. I think it'll be pretty solid. I've been playing a lot of... Well, my friend introduced me to it, because he plays Jungle Doom like every other game. But there's so many options to just power through the jungle now when you have the new Devour mechanic. So even if you're in lane, you can go and do 2 creep camps in the jungle, depending on what you get, and it's just really, really efficient. So it looks... I would have to say that EG's got a slight advantage, but it could go either way, no problem. I don't think this is like a draft win for either team, really.
It's going to be Demon playing the Doom, so... Fear will probably go to the offlane. Demon might safe lane farm, but they might switch it up and put Demon in the offlane, and he could find a potential juke spot. But anyways, right now I'm liking EG's draft a bit more since Fnatic doesn't really have that much... Well, they have a lot of damage, but it's not really burst damage, and Chen, of course, thrives in that sort of engagement, and Fear has so much HP to burn through that Nanotoxin won't be too effective. Still, if Fnatic can hold on long enough, they should have the advantage theoretically since they have Gyro, as well as Nature's Prophet and EG. I mean...
I don't know if they do because of the Doom. You can Doom him before he can cast any spells. Like, Gyro, as a carry, is based around casting spells. So if you Doom him, you just want to fight.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, it's up to the Venomancer to just use the Plague Wards then to cancel a dagger.
That is true.
But,
Okay, you want to introduce the teams?
Yeah, introducing the players and teams on the side of Fnatic. We're now Fly playing the Venomancer, No-Tail is playing the Enchantress, Arrow is playing the Gyrocopter, Trixie is playing the Viper, and Hani is playing the Nature's Prophet. On the side of EG, we're going to have Fear playing the Lone Druid, Jo is playing the OD, Demon's playing the Doom, Bamboa is playing the Treant Protector, and Beatus is playing the Chen. So you're an Enchantress player, or you used to be. I don't know if you still scrim a lot these days, but what are your thoughts on the last pick Enchantress? What is she designed to do? Just annoy Chen, or just to get some counter push going to free up the map?
Well, I think they wanted to go for a greedy draft, because EG's draft was pretty greedy to begin with. So Enchantress gets a lot of that DPS action, but I think they also want to sit on middle lane, and I think this might be it. Like, you put a Wildkin at it, you put one of the lightning people at it, and it's really solid.
Yeah, that Stormcrafter actually does a crap ton of damage. 100 damage per strike, or is it 75 damage in the early game?
I don't know, but it's a lot, and the cooldown's really short. It's around 100 or so.
Yeah, I remember one game...
It's either 75, 125, 100, something like that. I don't know, but it's a lot, and the cooldown's non-existent. So you just park it on the high ground of the enemy. It doesn't take any creep aggro, and you just move it in and out, and it's ridiculous. And Chen can't do that, but Enchantress can, and it's really annoying. Chen really can't even do the Wildkin attack, too, because he's got to farm. Like, if Chen gets a Wildkin, he just farms with it, usually. Beat is, rares are at 322 main value. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Switch stat in here.
Hashtag 322.
Okay, while we're paused, I have a very important story about the most important thing in Dota, items. So, if you check out Demon's set, he's got a pretty cool set, right? So that Doom player that I mentioned, who's my friend, mentions he likes this set. So I get this set from him. Like, Alan, I got you the Doom set of the Elven Curses. And, of course, he has no idea what he's talking about, because I'm pretty dyslexic. It's the 11 Curses Doom set. So, anyway, he got pissed off at me and thought I was trolling, and I was upset. And you know what? The story was way cooler. Shut up. I know that you're making fun of me in your head right now.
I'm just...
Okay, so...
I'm utterly speechless and bewildered.
At how awful that story was.
I'm just... I honestly don't know what to say after that. I mean, like, what else can I say except cool story, bro? That's the only thing I can
exactly
say.
What that is.
Oh my god. Wow. I mean,
Okay, so
I don't know if we
you're
can...
telling Bambo not to skill heal.
I think that's fair. I think all champ players should... I mean, level 1 heal is really not that big of a deal. It might be a big deal on OD, but that's pretty much it. Like, level 1 heal isn't the problem. It's level 2, level 3, level 4. But anyways, living armor
All
is
these
the
guys are
problem.
friends. I'm enjoying this all chat. They're saying Bambo got the big demotion.
I mean, have you seen Fnatic and EG? All they do is lift, so they're probably like gym bros.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But both teams also boot camping, so they have that in common as well. And yeah, just back to the game. Bambo now 5. Oh man, Bambo missing that European flavor, but Fnatic reminding him back. But Jo has some regen pulled towards him beyond the mid lane in response, which is going to be Hani playing the mid lane Nature's Prophet. So I guess this is sort of good. You can't really contest OD, but at least you can go to the jungle and farm up to a decent extent. And they're going to be farming the Viper. So this is just...
I like this. This is good, I think.
The battle
And
begins.
yep, it is. It's definitely that mid lane Prophet. I guess, you know, if you're going to lose mid horribly, why not put an Nature's Prophet there and make sure your actual mid gets farmed? So, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and I guess you can sort of harass to a certain extent with the treants, because ODs aren't likely to get a point to Arcane Orb, and you might mess up their skill build if they do decide to go for that. But again, mid lane, the path is a lot shorter, so the creeps can be dragged to the tower a lot more easily. But it's going to be an offlane gyrocopter for Era. This might be a bit of a sticky situation, but I mean, until Bambo hits level 2, there's really nothing that treant can do. So we'll see if BDs does roam in very early on. Era might be the only one who gets punished for this lane decision that Back is going for. But in the end, I mean, you don't want to just get rid of your mid lane entirely.
Yeah, you can't really dodge mid. That's not a thing that ever ends up working. I've seen teams try to do it once or twice, but... So, Venomancer, actually, I'm surprised. He didn't ward any of the camps. None of them. And I think had he done that, it forces both sentries to be used, at least, to get Chen access to his jungle. And if that happens, I think you can be pretty safe, because you can put an obs ward near the hard camp, and then you can just protect your gyro. So, I guess he's just trying to keep them for lane to do better in the lane itself, but I don't know.
Well, since we're seeing No-Tail rotate, maybe they want to get, you know, Cruise for Enchantress, as she has rotated herself to the offensive lane, and we're going to see if they're going to do a bit of harassment, but this is wasting a lot of experience on the supports for them meanwhile, because Beat is just more than happy to farm up, and Bambo was able to get a successful creep pull going. Meanwhile, Viper versus Lone Druid. Viper does pretty well until level 5, compared to most lanes with the Lone Druid matchup, but here comes the Judge. It's going to wrap around, and the smoke has been revealed a long time ago. Demon going to get it. Little living armor fortified on him, and we're going to see the Hani teleport himself in. Looks like this will be a very early tower push coming in. Fly has that point to poison kill, so can't drop the wards or anything like that. The Wildkin just dancing in a circle, trying to find out vision of where Demon could potentially be. And also, I think it's in range to give armor. No, it's not in range, so I'm not too sure what No-Tail is actually doing with that wild kid.
He thought Demon went to the left. But Demon could chop down one tree. There's one tree you can chop and get access to the other path. And, you know, nobody knows these jungles like Demon, so...
Well, this tower is going to undergo slow and steady barrage coming in from almost the entirety of Fnatic, but meanwhile, as a response on the bottom lane, Trixie taking a lot of damage because Beatus did rotate himself downwards, as Trixie is most certainly going to die. Has 1 point to Cross Skin to delay his death. All you can wish is that he does die to the creep, so he doesn't give up too much gold to fear. But it's going to be a Viper in exchange for a tower. Not too sure how I feel about this trade. Fear is going to take a bit of extra damage, but he's getting very close to that level 5. And at that point, you can't really lane against OD, you can't really lane against Lone Druid. I mean, what can you actually do?
Well, this is actually interesting, because I haven't seen a good 4-1-0 in a really long time. But this is like old school Navi DTS stuff, where you put 4 heroes top at level 1, and then you just go. Normally with an Enchantress, but sometimes with a Chen. And I think that was executed really well. They got back to their lanes. They're not losing experience. Like, you know you're going to lose mid. It's nature's profit. So this makes a lot of sense because they just send him top and says, it doesn't matter if we, get that level disadvantage. It's already over. So they just take that tower, get the pretty good money advantage, and I think they're just going to go from there.
Well, Beatus and No-Tail duking it out in the jungle, and both heroes trying to get the shockwave. Enchantress just to level 2. Meanwhile, on the top lane, there might be a bit of engagement. No, Demon just rushing with the Scorcher. Bambo just applying some Leech Seed here and there. Now is level 2. It is burning through a decent amount of mana, but Linear, of course, costs next to nothing to cast. And Demon, his form has been delayed as a result of this tower push, but he did get that point to Devour and actually managed to steal the mana burn, which could potentially annoy people like Fly and Era to no end. But it seems like the lanes have evened out to a relative degree, and Fear is actually doing some bear pulling. Interesting maneuver.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this. Someone did this to me in a pub and I was so mad. You pull the creeps until... Okay, this is actually the opposite of what I was thinking, so I'm going to stop talking now. But he's bear pulling right now, so just it makes Viper have to tank grass in the tower.
Top lane, Beatus is going to come in, and he has a troll net, but Demon's going to take a lot of damage from Rocket Barrage. Fly likely going to be in a lot of trouble, but Demon was forced away. Do they have any backup damage? It doesn't look like that is the case, as Era is trying to drop as much Rocket Barrage as possible. Hani's going to rotate himself in. Beatus is going to die. Good retreat by Fnatic, as their heroes having boot speed definitely helped them out in that engagement. Era actually had phase boots, and Fnatic actually going to clean up a double kill. Really nicely done as they managed to shut down Bambo for a bit. Good teleport by Honey, and we're going to see No-Tail wrap around. He has a troll creep, I believe. No, he has a Hellbear Smasher. And
This should
Viper
work.
is level 5. He has that third point to poison attack, and he's going to apply it to the bear because he couldn't get into range to Fear. But now here comes Viper, going to drop that poison attack. No-Tail, unfortunately for him, does get entangled. We'll see if the bear gets one more entangle off onto Trixie. He's going to morph, but it's just simply not enough. Still a lone druid for Enchantress, very much worth it for Fnatic. So Fnatic, with some solid movement in the early game, starting to get a little bit of an advantage, but Jo just farming up all the while, tackling evilly to himself, since he cannot be stopped.
This is pretty cool. Hani's stacking the ancient camp with the trees. Or maybe he stacked it himself and the trees were in, but either way, like, he's using his summons to stack the camp so that Gyro can clear it. I really like what Fnatic's doing right now. This is not standard play at all, and honestly, I don't even care what you're doing as long as it's not, just the Nake's Gyro thing.
Yo,
But
you
anyway,
just said, at the beginning, I want to look at Nake's Gyro Alchemist. What, I don't know.
Sometimes sarcasm doesn't translate that well, but...
God damn it, I got trolled. I fully fell for that. Oh my god. I'm so sad at myself now. Well, at least that makes up for your story for a certain extent, but
that's exactly what I thought. You know what? You miss sarcasm. I tell an awful story. It's even. We're both bozos in the end, really. So, Doom is not getting farm at all. And this is going to be a problem, because if Doom got a lot of farm, I think he could just control this game by himself, but he isn't. So, Doom can catch up really well, but he's also really good at snowballing, and I don't think he's going to do that.
Fear with a nicely placed Azurwood will spot out No-Tail rotating at least into the river, and No-Tail will be driven back as well. Actually, the bear going to come in. First hit and Tangle, Challenger inner Bulldog as No-Tail will run away. Nice micro by No-Tail. Blocking off his retreat with the creeps is actually Fear going to get re-engaged upon, but Beatus is there with the smoke to see. Trying to bait No-Tail into coming up the jungle, but No-Tail just going to back off. And as a response, Demon going to farm in the jungle, Era is farming the top lane, OD is farming the mid lane, and we're going to see a full rotation by EG as No-Tail could potentially be in a bit of trouble. The creeps are slowly being picked off one by one, and actually, the middle lane, Hani, might be in the one for a rude awakening. Here comes the imprisonment. Bambo gonna follow up with Leech Seed. Can the Centaur get into position for a stun? It looks like it's not the case just yet, as Hani is gonna get the successful trees off, but the Centaur trapped inside the trees does give enough vision, and Bambo had a tangle anyway, so Hani would have died regardless. But good gank by EG, as they were spied out, and I guess Hani just felt a little bit too cocky.
Yeah, I guess. Well, a lot of times, even if you think you're going to be okay and you can run away, OD has treads and he has 315 base. Furion has 295 in top lane.
Yeah, Demon getting engaged upon took so much damage from Fly, and by so much I mean like 100 damage, but Hani teleported himself in, Era popped the call down, and that would be the end of that. As Era's starting to get his own farm rolling, and keep in mind, Gyro does do decently against OD because he's a natural BKB carrier, and of course OD doesn't really match up that well against BKBs in general.
Yeah, he doesn't do so hot against Magic Immunity, but he does pretty well against the rest of Fnatic. so that's something.
Oh, Bambo gonna get a Viper Strike dropped on him. He's gonna pop the Living Armor. Did he get off the Nature's Guise? No, it's not gonna be enough as Trixie was able to secure a kill. Bambo just overextended by a slight amount, and that extra bit of move speed that Tranquil Boots granted to Trixie was able to get in position to pick up the kill. So Fnatic, with some strong early game, is just saying, screw jail, we're just gonna focus our attention on every other lane, and so far they're doing a nice job.
B-Ballin, does Poor Man's Shield block bear damage?
Not like the hero damage. I don't know, because bears are countered as
This
hero
is something
units.
I can know, and they got it on Viper, and I don't know. I might start doing this if I'm in like a bounty hunter versus him. I don't know.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I
attack.
think it
that
should, because
this
bears
is-
count as hero units, technically.
Yeah, I think. So it makes sense, because I was wondering why Viper has a Poor Man's Shield on a range hero, and I guess that could be it.
That's pretty
Anyway.
interesting. Yep, Era has the Bracer, so likely gonna go... Might be a casual Bracer, could be drum setup. And Hani, level 7, is gonna start spamming that Wrath of Nature, and he's actually gonna teleport himself towards bottom lane, canceling it as Bambo is there. But here comes push by Fnatic, as they do have regeneration creep. Not the best creeps for Fnatic, as the Central will be popped. Bambo gonna be in Law but so far he's escaping the wrath of Fnatic for the moment, as Bambo gonna pop another Invisible, but is gonna be spotted out by the Sentry Ward. And unfortunately for EG, they can't respond since the top lane is pushed to such extent that they cannot mount a push of their own. So right now, Fnatic are coming out to a surprisingly strong start against EG's pretty strong early game lineup, and Fnatic taking control of the game thus far.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a team do a 4-1-0. I'm pretty sure it was in Dota 1. So it's been a while since any team's had to play against something like this with the Enchantress and like another summoner.
Oh, Jail gonna imprison somebody in the middle lane, but Beat is gonna be surrounded by teleports as Hani might be able to escape. Beat is now on the one on the run, as Trixie gonna be blocked off by the Centaur for the moment, but Beat is just simply not fast enough as Viper has 10 more move speed. And meanwhile, OD was able to secure a one-shot kill against the Enchantress, but my attention is focused on Beatus. This Air is gonna come in as well. They wanna kill off Beatus. They wanna get rid of this annoying Chen, and he's only level 4, so his level 6 will be heavily delayed. Here comes the poison attacks. They're starting to be stacked up. Nice imprisoned by Jail, gonna imprison the Viper, but the Chen Hani finally got enough mana to summon the trees, and looks like Beatus, with that nice imprisonment by Jail, was able to escape. Meanwhile, Demon gonna rotate himself through, has the Doom online, so EG might be keen to pursue the issue, but instead they're gonna teleport themselves towards bottom lane where Bambo is initiating. OD is gonna come through, and Jail is saying, "You made a mistake ignoring me for now, and I am here with a vengeance," as Jail is now on a killing spree, is gonna pick up the 4-staff relatively soon, and he is ridiculously farmed at this stage.
Yeah,
Dire's middle
that's
tower
a good way of saying it. That's a lot of stuff that he's got. So I honestly can't say what's going to happen next in this game because Fnatic's moving all over the map. They're everywhere. So it's pretty hard to predict what's going to happen, at least for me. Maybe someone better might be able to figure it out. But it looks like Fnatic are going to try to push top lane, I think.
Well, No-Tail's level 6, Fly is level 6 as well, so everybody has their ultimate on the side of Fnatic. EG lacking the Hand of God, lacking the Overgrowth, a little bit behind in terms of experience, and actually Fear will be spotted out. Fear, 1700 gold in the bag, so desperately wants to avoid this death. Will the enchant be popped? No-Tail, I don't think, was in range, so Fear will be able to escape just barely, as he has got to be counting himself very fortunate to escape from that gank. But so far, yeah, it's difficult to say who actually has the advantage, since OD is carrying EG, as I accidentally paused, so I'm just gonna fast forward for a little bit.
Oh, I was pausing because I thought that you were behind me. Where are you in the game time?
46, 47, 1148, 1149.
We're good.
Well, they're gonna engage upon Doom, as here comes the teleport by Hani, and the poison attacks and Viper Strike doing a crap ton of damage to Demon, but they're gonna back off because Jo is here once again to ruin the party of Fnatic, and Demon can rotate himself back through, doesn't have any mana for Doom. Trixie will likely get picked off because Corrosive Skin won't reduce the damage, but you can still see Jo is being slowed down by Corrosive Skin regardless. Trixie, will he actually be able to escape? No, one more orb will seal the end of Trixie, and now Hani's just got to skate on out of there. And meanwhile, on the top lane, the Bear, undergoing a lot of damage, will get killed off. 300 damage will go the way of Fnatic very shortly. It actually goes
Bot
into
lane.
No-Tail's pocket. And meanwhile, bottom lane, another engagement. Hani gonna get himself surrounded. Overgrowth will be used by Bambo. He just managed to hit level 7, as that is gonna be a huge victory for EG. They're gonna get their tower pushed as a response, but I don't know. They might be able to defend
Dire's
this.
top tower is
That
under
should
attack.
be... I think that's just going to fall. I don't think they can defend that. Yeah, it's just going to go down. Here are my thoughts on the game so far.
Dire's structures
Demon is
are
behind.
fortified.
he is really absurdly far behind, and it's not his fault. It's like he had 4 people lane against him, but deny maybe.
Yep, Mondred
that fear
sneaks a
advantage.
deny in as Doom gonna come in, drops the Doom on Era, but Era pretty fast, camp out the phase boots, and seems like EG will give up the approach for now. All the while, the middle tower was pushed in by EG's creeps, and that is going to be very nice because they just got a tower deny. Meanwhile, Demon just going to get a creep in towards him. Fnatic did spot him out. They're going to get a tree summon, and Demon just going to teleport on either, saying, "Come at me, Viper," as he just teleports away to safety. Meanwhile, Era going to drop the call on Bembo, going to be in a lot of trouble. Will be the first one to get picked off as the impetus being dropped by Fnatic. Fnatic playing uncharacteristically super aggressive, and this is an interesting change of pace. But I think EG are pretty much handling themselves as best they possibly can with their current lineup.
It's tricky for them to split push because of the Nature's Prophet. And normally I would say, well, you just park Syllaber in the offlane and have him split push. But that's really tricky because someone can TP in and Nature's Prophet and then he dies. So at this point, I think the most important thing for EG to do is get some farm on Demon. Because Doom is capable of really carrying on not a lot of items, but he hasn't got anything. And there's a Force Staff. Odie's faster than Hani. Hani's going to get it disrupted. This is going to be bad.
Well, Demon doesn't have the Doom, so if he can get the successful tree off, it seems like Hani will be able to escape. They're going to drop the Saves Clips. Hani actually cancels the teleport. Did he get his mana drain? No, that was not the case. But Joe taking Light Edge. If he dies now, he could potentially give up a streak, but the Hand of God gonna fly, and Demon might just teleport on out of there. Will indeed do just that. And again, Fnatic, no stuns, means that people can teleport right from underneath their nose. Still, an OD ultimate blown for essentially nothing. Overall, an even exchange, as Vita is going to be able to defend the middle tower with the Centaur creep. And you can see Fnatic have been pressuring EG's jungle, so Vita hasn't been able to mass creep army just yet. But so far, it seems like Fnatic has the map control, but Fear is starting to get very close towards his relic.
This is a very late, like incredibly late 7 from Chen. Poor
Call down gonna be dropped as he is gonna convert Enchantress Creep, but meanwhile, Bambo coming in with the clutch overgrowth will get 1 kill. Era died, Fly is gonna die as well, as the Poison Nova doing a lot of residual damage. Meanwhile, No Tail looking to skate on out of there, but it's gonna be a 2-4 engagement thus far. And Vitas has got to be pretty pleased because he was able to drop off the Hand of God, and that was a lot of damage coming in from Fnatic, but the tanky nature of EG allowed them to withstand the barrage. And we'll see if EG actually goes in for Roshan now. It seems like they are angling themselves to do just that.
It should be a pretty easy Roshan too. They got so much chailing and damage, so... Here's what's going on. Demon's got a bracer, or excuse me, a drum. He's probably going to finish. He's either going to go for dagger and go for complete utility, which is honestly I think what he should do, or he'll probably go for something like a mid-gamey tanky item. Could be anything really. Fear's almost got his Radiance, that's a big deal. JO's going for Hex, that's a big deal. And Fnatic hasn't really got anything.
Yeah, Fnatic more keen on fighting rather than farming, and that tower deny definitely hurt them quite a bit. But Era is still farming relatively well, 84-23, considering how much action this game has had thus far, is pretty respectable. And they still have an ancient stack, or what? How many? No, it's a quadruple stack, so Era could potentially pick up a pretty sizable amount of farm relatively soon, but I think the biggest factor is that Fear will start actually having some offensive force. And yeah, you have some tanky heroes on Fnatic, but a lot of their heroes aren't that tanky either. So that Radiance, I feel like, will just be the game changer for EG.
None of them have high HP pools. They're tanky in other ways, like Enchantress has the heal and Untouchable, Viper's got his Corrosive Skin, but honestly, Radiance is just going to kind of wreck Fnatic.
50 damage per second is no joke, especially to the squishy HP pools of Fnatic. And Gyrocopter's farming up this ancient stack, but again, that cooldown nerf for Flackhand definitely hurting him quite a bit. Meanwhile, Jo was the one to receive the HC Mortal, so that is going to prevent Fnatic from going in and ganking him. And Jo has a significant streak on his head. I think he has a dominating spree, so Fnatic definitely want to go in on him. But right now, they can't really do anything but just play back. And Fear going to pick up the relic in about 150 gold. Or did he buy the Radiance recipe first? No, it looks like he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he was offline, so it's no big deal. Normally you want to shoot for about a 15-minute is standard for a safe lane lone druid. But offlane, you know, it's fine to get it 20, 22 maybe. And Fear's on time. He's doing pretty well.
Ota actually enchanted a Treant Illusion after the Smoker to see as Nexino. Weird type just appears on my Dota 2 screen for whatever reason. But yeah, No-Tail making a slight mistake. The smoke wasn't dispelled, but he still enchanted the illusion, and EG immediately retreated out of his response, or Jo just walked back 2 paces towards the tower. But seems like Fnatic are starting to exert themselves
wow.
in terms of map control. And here comes a wraparound gank, as Fly could potentially be in a little bit of trouble.
Did you see what happened?
Now, what happened?
The Viper Strike attacked the bear, and Fear summoned it immediately while it was in the air.
Bear?
So while the attack was in the air, Fear summoned his bear back. So yeah, like before, it's like phase shifting something, but on Lone Druid.
Yeah, and Viper Strike actually has a bit of a projectile animation, which is annoying as a Viper player. But yeah, really spot on micro by Fear. So, well played, as that would potentially been 300 gold for the coffers of Fnatic. And meanwhile, you can see Fnatic starting to fall behind in terms of levels, as Bambo starting to get very leveled up, has a medallion, and now has a bit more Mind Storm to apply to the side of Fnatic. Meanwhile, Era gonna go straight into that BKB. Still only 1200 HP, not really the best HP pool in the world, and the Radiants won't really care about that too much. Well, I mean, the Radiant's burn damage will care, but the Bear's physical attack won't really care.
Did EG get a medal in the last game on Treant also?
They did. Yes, they did.
Okay, I guess I just think he's a really good medal carrier. Because he doesn't need anything, right? So.
Are fortified.
Yeah. Seems like this will be a middle tower exchange. Actually, Bambo gonna drop the overgrowth as Doom gonna come in from Demon. Era is gonna be one to get doomed up. Saysclip's gonna be dropped as No Tail will be the first one to die. Outward Devourer does clean up Fly, and they're gonna pursue the issue onto Era. Actually, Imprisonment gonna preserve Era's life for now, but he is definitely screwed as Doom is still applied. Era gonna get last hit by JL. Fear cleans up the bottom tower with the help of Beatus, and EG starting to fire on all their cylinders, and this is the scary death ball push for EG once they start getting their lineup rolling.
Yeah. It's Syllabear and the Chen and the Treant are so... I don't really know how to describe it that well, but it's when you have so much stuff that's on a tower and like controlling that area, you can't ever even push up to defend it. So it's not like they do tower damage fast and have stuff to tank it, it's the fact that they have so much area control around a tower that it's really, really efficient and hard to contest. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have so much stuff that they can just zone out the enemy pretty effectively, because, I mean, Fnatic, their AoE damage is Flackhand, Wrath of Nature, and Poison Nova, question mark? I mean, that can't really be called AoE damage, so each can just charge in with their stuff and just go to work. So Fnatic, in a bit of a tricky situation, to say the least, and Fear didn't even have the Radiance finish, but now he does after cleaning up those successful towers, and now this top lane going to be in jeopardy very soon for Fnatic. Hani, does he have the appropriate split pushing items in place? Not just yet, only 2.5k gold. As Hani has not been able to farm, has still been having a relatively solid game nonetheless. But unfortunately, it might just come a bit too late for Fnatic if EG do respond with the push relatively soon.
Big items alert, Mech, Hex, and Lothar is all picked up on the side of the Dire. That's
the Shadow Blade was hidden. I don't think Demon revealed. Well, now he just
revealed
it.
Yeah. I am a little bit upset. I was hoping for an S&Y. I'm convinced that that's the best item in the game, period. No exceptions. But actually, in all seriousness, though, I really do like that item on Doom. I think it's really, like, gives him everything he needs. But Lothar sort of does the same thing, but it just lets you sneak up on people that Doom them.
Yeah, it can also help amplify the chase. I mean, Doom is definitely a strong Shadow Blade carrier as Bambo. Gonna spot No Tail. Will he drop the Leech Seed? Seems like No Tail knows something's up as Demon is in position. And
the Veno Ward attacked Demon when he ran through the sentry, so they know.
Well, Bambo's still in position. We'll see if they decide to go for a gank as No Tail, the Shadow Blade will be used as No Tail can be watched out. Doom is going to be dropped after the healing attendants are used, and we'll see if No Tail can escape. No, they're going to pop an Overgrowth. They're going to use all their ultimates for one lowly Enchantress. Poor Bambi could not escape the wrath of these fearsome creatures, and now...
It's no big deal, though. When you're winning, it's totally cool to like use a Tidehunter ult to ravage a solo crystal mid and just to get more ahead. They don't need to save it for team fights because they can just go farm. So I think, you know, even if it took like 3 ultimates to kill her, who cares? You're just gonna get more ahead.
Well, maybe not so much a Tidehunter ultimate. Definitely an Overgrowth and probably a Doom.
I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it. Don't tell me what to do.
Dang, why are you such a rebel?
No, but I think it actually is. It doesn't matter no matter what the cooldown is, as long as you're getting more ahead. And you have the advantage for farming, like you can just decide to farm and dodge team fights. It doesn't matter that much, because then she can't even get reward money, and it's just awful for the supports when that happens to you. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the medal on Bambo. I think the reason they do this is because, I'll talk about this later, because there's going to be a fight. Maybe?
No, just
No,
a
he's
bit of
gonna
posture.
leave. I think it's because you don't need mana boots on that hero, so your first big item is gonna be like an urn or a medal. And metal's a great item, but a lot of times it's
Radiant's
over-prioritized,
top
or it's
tower is under
under-prioritized,
attack.
because urn just sort of takes the place of it, because it's the same price point. Uh-oh! Overgrowth on No-Tail.
Oh, Jail gonna come in with the Hex.
Radiant's top tower
And I was actually about to comment on something, as the top tower gonna get pushed down as well. Fnatic really being penned up in a corner. And Fnatic don't have the best turtling lineup either. I mean, they have Plague Wards and Wrath of Nature, but it's pretty much it.
Radiant's top
And
tower
Hani,
is under attack.
as an
I'm
ultimate,
happy
he's gonna
he
go
didn't
for
go for
Hex.
Shadowblade. I thought he was going to go for it, and I was going to be upset. Shadowblade won't help them. Sooner or later, they're going to need to defend their tier 3, and Shadowblade doesn't do anything to help against that, so I think it's a pretty good item choice by him.
But yeah, I was actually gonna comment on Bambo's skill build as he decided to max Nature's Guise rather than Leech Seed. What do you think about that?
You know what? I honestly haven't seen that.
I've never seen
I
it either.
think-
Maybe it's because they're not team fighting, they're just going for these pickoffs. Maybe they just want scouting information.
I don't think they need that much more heal. They already got a lot of heal. So, maybe that could be it. And you're right for the pickoffs thing. Like, it's helping them get pickoffs, so...
Yeah, I guess it's sort of functioning to Shadowblade to a certain extent since you are forced to buy these sentries or forfeit a gem or gamble on a gem purchase. So, I mean, Bambo can just pretty much get away with this for free. But it is breaking through his mana pool as Era is going to pick up Regeneration Rune. And there might be a fight breaking out. Viper Strike going to be applied to Jo, but Jo should be okay as the Aegis has timed out. But EG is still faring very, very well. Fear has 2200 gold in the bank, will likely work his way towards the AC relatively soon. Bambo, 1300 gold in the bank. Beat is not too much. Jo,
Radiant's
well,
turret
he's just
has been
rolling
killed.
in the dough. And meanwhile, Demon just doing standard Demon moves, backdooring the creeps to pull them out of the way. And Demon gonna get missile, but should be okay as it seems like he's gonna go for a Shiva's Guard.
Yeah, with the Shivas, and I'm assuming AC, and I would love to see if Vlad's come up on either the Trant or, I'm guessing Trant is going to go for it because he's closer. That's so much auras and so much armor, so you're going to have all that armor, you have the Trant heals, you have the Chen heals, and you have just so much area control around the tower. Honestly, I think right now if EG wanted to, they could win the game. No problem. But maybe that fails, so if they farm up their next tier of items, it's definitely going to win. So... I think, EG's just playing it safe, farming up their items, gonna get Roshan, and then they're gonna win.
Well, I think Demon also sniped out the couriers. Hani's gonna come and try and jack these creeps from Beatas. But now Hani has revealed himself. We'll see if Beatas can get in position. No, Hani just gonna teleport out to safety. And yeah, Fnatic definitely penned up into a bit of a corner. Checking out Era's items. He has finished the BKB, but that won't really do too much against the likes of Doom and Treant and Bear. Only really works against OD, and I mean, OD's still the biggest problem, but we'll see if Gyrocopter can make a good usage of this, because here comes Doom with the Shadowblade, going to drop the Doom right onto Era's face, and here comes Pursuit. The net will be dropped, Hex is going to be dropped as well onto Era. Hand of God going to be used, not too sure why. I guess they want to heal up the creeps, but
Yeah, his creeps were low and he wanted to heal them. Because he has the right combo that he wants right now, but they were all low. And it's sometimes at that point you just say fuck it and use Hand of God, because you're like, well, someone on our team needed to heal sorta, but you really just wanted to heal your creeps, and that's what that was, I think.
Well, EG, with that kill, gonna immediately rotate into Roshan. The only thing that could be positive from that engage for Fnatic is that Era didn't burn a BKB charge, because he couldn't. But that's really the only thing. As EG
You always see the bright side, don't you?
Of course. I mean,
Roshan
gotta
has
find
fallen to
something
the
happy for Dota when a team is in a deficit.
Yeah. Well, I think Demon's gonna pick up the crit aura soon. He could go for the armor creep, if he can find one, but I think the crit aura is just the way to go, because at that point, it does help OD, even though most of his stuff is pure, but it's really gonna help the bear, because it's plus 30% damage aura. and
Double
that's a
damage
big deal.
Demon with the Shadow Blade gonna come in, gonna work on Hani, but Hani has a Hex as Hani gonna get trapped in the trees as Demon. How do you get pushed out?
That's not supposed to work that way.
Oh, is
I'm
Demon?
pretty sure that's not supposed to
Is
do that.
Doombringer too fat of a model that he
I
just
think
gets?
Doombringer's too fat of a model, but that should break the trees, I think, if he gets pushed out like that.
Well, that's pretty unfortunate for Demon, as I think Hani would have been able to escape regardless because he had the Hex, and Demon didn't have the Doom.
Oh, I didn't know he had Hexed on. Yeah, no, he would have been fine. Oh well.
And that's still a little bit of a quirky mechanic in Dota 2. We all know Tail really struggling all the way on 9. Working his way towards the mech. I mean, that's something. But the damage is the really big factor since EG is starting to get ridiculously tank. Fear gonna have the AC finished in about 1250 gold. Beat is looks like he's gonna pick up the Vlads as all he needs is a Morbid Mask, which he will be able to acquire in about 700 gold. And EG gonna pressure the tier 2 with their rotation. Jo actually gonna go for a Shivas himself, so maybe they're gonna stack
Shiva's
Shivas.
advantage. I mean, why not, right? It's no big deal. Because Doombringer actually really, really benefits from Shivas so much. So you would say, okay, OD doesn't need to make it, but OD is stomping so hard, he just wants to one-shot everything with his ult. So I think that's what that is. Like, you could see an Ags, which isn't that great, Sound Stick, BKB, but he doesn't need any of that. He just wants to one-shot people, I think, so.
And you gotta respect that idea. I mean, isn't that why we all play Dota? So you can just one-shot everything. Is Bambo gonna come in with a huge blink overgrowth? Era gonna be doomed once again. There's the doom factor, like you mentioned. Say's Clip's gonna wreck through Fnatic. It's gonna be 3-0 engagements thus far for EG. The tower's still at healthy HP. Do Fnatic have buyback? That's the question. No, none of their heroes have buyback. So EG should be able to kill off these middle barracks without too much of a problem, despite using all their major ultimates.
People, and I got a question for you. Have you ever once seen OD Triumph lose? Ever?
Dire's bottom
No.
tower is under attack.
But I haven't seen that many
Pubs.
games, to be frank, because people actually ban it out.
Are fortified.
Yeah, people ban it. I don't know. I don't it's like giving away West CK. The synergy isn't quite as obvious, but it's there, believe me.
Middle tower has fallen.
It's like you can't even dual aim it because of living armor.
Yeah, there's
Dire's
I don't know.
bottom tower
All the answers to OD, like all the ways you can play around him, at least in my opinion, are stopped by the Treant. So, I think a lot of ways that you can approach the OD situation is by picking someone who doesn't really do that well mid and just gets levels, sort of like the Furion, but like a Pandas maybe, or like a Night Stalker, someone who just needs the 6 and then they just go and kill stuff. That doesn't work against the Treant because if you pick someone who just gets levels and then kills stuff, it doesn't work because Treant stops them from killing stuff. So it sort of like covers every weakness. I can't think of what beats this. I really can't, and I've been.
I mean,
know.
I think Fnatic had a sort of a right idea. They picked to try to counter the Treant. I wish they just sort of. I don't know. Like, I'm still convinced that with an aggressive trial that's powerful enough, you can overpower Treant, and then. Yeah, I mean, OD is still going to become a huge problem, but, I mean, you will be able to mitigate the living armor presence, and your heroes will be experienced enough that you can
Dire's
actually go in
top
for
tower
ganks.
is under attack.
So, I think PM...
I don't.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
the
hard.
issue with aggressive tri-laning against an OD Treant combo is your supports are pinned to that aggressive tri-lane. Normally, when you do an aggressive tri-lane, you try to pin the enemy supports and say, okay, so this forces a 1v1 situation. But it's sort of working in the opposite if you do that with an Obsidian Destroyer on the other team, because what happens is, if your supports ever leave that top lane, your farmer in that lane is going to get killed. And there's
Demon
gonna
gonna
be a
run
fight.
right into his Central, but he's so tanky. Doomgray dropped onto Trixie as Astral Imprisonment gonna be used onto Demon to delay the inevitable. Here comes the Hand of God gonna fly in from Beatus. Look at EG's HP pool, they're still ridiculously tanky. Era finally making usage of his BK, but just simply not enough damage as JO's gonna come right back in. The response is kind of coming from Hani, delaying JO's assault for now, but GG is the call from Era as Fnatic recognizes when they are beaten. And, well, I mean, EG, they looked a little bit troubled in the early game, but once they got their mojo rolling, i.e. once Jo finished up his 4 staff, EG were just able to respond with a vengeance. Man, that one shot.
He just one shot, I know. But yeah, if you aggressive tri-lane against an OD, it doesn't matter, but it's a 1v1 with an OD and you can't go gank him, so you get screwed on that. So, like, they didn't ever gank him because they had to park their supports up there, so...
I think you need a
dark
Darkseer, because Darkseer is probably the best mid laner against OD. I'm convinced.
Could be. I don't know. People got to figure this out before TI3, otherwise it's going to be in every game.
Well,
well.
that's the end of that game. That's the end of that series. So EG responding pretty solidly, and EG have been looking very impressive as, again, they are participating in the American Dota League finals against Team Liquid in Best of 5 series, which I'll probably tune into relatively shortly. But yeah, EG looking pretty powerful. Again, they still have some tournaments to play for, the American Dota 2 League, the Raidcall EMS, and there are more additions to Raidcall EMS, and I'm sure EG definitely have a lot of pride, and they want to perform better. And Meow Fnatic used some interesting drafts. It didn't work out as well as they'd hoped for the latter 2 games, but still looked overall pretty solid in their games. They executed outside their comfort zone, which I think is a big step for a versatile team. And hopefully both teams continue to do well. But thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.